Greetings and welcome to the reading for January 11th. Today, I have decided that instead of doing a spread from either the 365 tarot spreads that I have been doing or doing a spread created by someone else, that I was going to share with you my signature spread that I use. It's a quick check-in. It's a way that you can get a quick little snapshot of things that are going on in your life. It is based on elemental, and that to me is an area that I really like to play with and explore. And so it is for me, I find because it connects a few things that I love to look at. It is a pretty powerful spread that you can use. There are 5 cards in the spread. The spread is set out with 1 card in the middle, and then you go up one, down one, side to side, so that it basically ends up in the shape of a plus. So I'm going to start with shuffling the cards. What I shuffle in when I do this spread is what is it that is moving in my life, or what is it that I need to be aware of at this time? So we're going to shuffle that into the cards. What is it that we need to be aware of at this time? Shuffle those in. All right. All right, let's lay them out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first card represents us. And it is because what it puts us in the center. It's almost like how are we in the eye of the storm that is our lives? What is it that is kind of going on in our lives? What is it that we're dealing with? It's a lot of just where we are, the choices we have, the options we have, and the things that we have to deal with right kind of in this moment and in this time. And here we have the moon. Now, interesting that we start off that it's empowering in the sense that it's a major arcana card, but what it's saying is right now we're dealing with some pretty heavy cosmic lessons. The moon is one that I find when I have the moon lessons in my life that it's a lot more challenging than some of the other cards because the moon is very much emotional. It is very much intuitive and creative, but it really, really is emotional when we think of the power of the moon and how it controls the tides, it controls all the waters of the world, including the waters within us. As we're coming up at this point, we're about a week away from the January new moon. So the moon, there's a hiding of it. There's a shadow kind of almost on our emotions where we're having a really hard time to pin down or identify exactly what it is that we're feeling. And for the things that we know that we're feeling, we might be doing the same thing, only trying to figure out, well, what is it that's making us feel this way? There can be a bit of a creative block going on at this time as well, and communities might be feeling a little off, which makes a lot of sense. We're still kind of dealing with the New Year energy, and it's very important for us to understand that at this point, there's still a lot of chaos and distortion, I want to say, going on in the world. And so one of the things we want to be really paying attention to is our inner voice. The moon kind of comes with this gentle coaxing of take time for yourself to get clarity. If you really want to understand what's beneath the surface, you have to allow the surface to get calm. What's been kind of thrown into your pond that's made waves or that's stirred up the waters and keeping you from being able to really get a bit of clarity. One of the things I want to kind of point out too is we have the dog and we have the wolf, right? And one of the questions that the moon is asking is how much of your wildness, of your otherness, have you allowed to be tamed? Have you allowed to be brought into alignment with social constraints and social norms? The moon is very much about working in the shadows. It's very much about not really knowing what's out there and not really understanding what you're seeing, but trusting that you're being led in the right direction. Because if you've ever gone on a walk in the moonlight, it's hard to see those branches or those twigs or those rocks that are going to trip you up. And that's what we're kind of looking at right now. As we go through the rest of the cards, it'll be interesting to see in which direction the moon is really being um, either highlighted or eclipsed by the other things that are going on in our life. But right now, it's important to know that right now, what we're dealing with is a very vulnerable, a very emotional time right now. The next card that we have, it is the card that sits above in the spread, and this represents the north. When I do this reading, I always look at the elemental sides as what are they representing, what are they bringing in, what opportunities do they have that's in direct connection with that element. With the north, we're looking at the element of earth, and so we're looking at foundations, we're looking at resources, we're looking at finances, anything that we can touch, anything that is tangible and tactile. And it's interesting because finances now are becoming less and less of a place that we can touch, and they're falling more into an energetics, which would be more either south or east, because how often do you see people actually paying with cash? How often do you actually touch money? It's a lot of times it's digital interactions. It's taps on the machines. It's debit cards. It's all that kind of stuff. And very rarely do we actually interact with the real physicalityness of money. And so I feel that right now that's kind of an energetics that's shifting. And so when we look at finances, we also have to look at the abundance and what are the things in our lives that allow us to feel safe, that allow us to feel secure. And that's why I tend to kind of look at the North as a lot more of resources, right? Like looking at your house, looking at your food, looking at your clothing, looking at all the things that help you to feel safe and secure, because that's what the North is all about. It's our foundation. It is what holds us in place and allows us to build the life that we want and the life that we dream of. And so right now we have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is all about victory, right? Like here she is, she's coming back and she's like, whatever's going on, like I've done it, I've succeeded. And if we go, this one, we're constantly going back to us and the moon card. There's been an emotional challenge. There's been something that's been going on that's been upsetting us or triggering us or causing us to not really know what our next step is because there's an emotional component to it, and we feel that we're being restrained, we're restricted in some way. Maybe the flow that we like to be in, or the creative spaces that we like to have, or the communities we want to be in, maybe they've been really restricted. Maybe they've been frozen, or something's been kind of up with them. And so what we really want to be doing right now is we want to make sure that we are looking at where we have come through and where we've been successful, and how can we make sure that everything that we're doing is leading us towards these successes. There's a lot of things that are going on. And one of the things that's really interesting is here we have a fire card in the northern position, right? So we have fire and earth together. And that means that right now we're looking to really solidify a lot of the things in our physical world. I like to always look at when you have this kind of combination of fire and earth, of the clay that goes into the kiln, right? Up until the point where it's fired up in the kiln, you can always go back and redo it. You can break it down and you can start again. But once it's been fired up, if it breaks, a lot of times we find that once it's broken, it's gone, and so you have to go back right back to. But this is saying, no, no, no. We've been working on something that's been really difficult, really challenging, and now it's fired in the kiln and it's coming out, and it is exactly what we need it to be, and it is now. One of the things that I like to think of too is when you go from the process of working with clay, firing it and coming out with it, it is a finished product. And that's what we're being told is whatever it is that we've been dealing with in our emotions, whatever has been really weighing heavy on us, that lesson that the universe is bringing us about our fluidity, about our fluid nature, about our creativity, about our communities, we're now starting to understand, and we're really being able to solidify those themes in our actual life. So that's a really good place to be looking right now, is all of the ways that that is manifesting. So what is it that we've been working really hard on that is now actually manifesting in a sustainable way in our 3D reality? Obviously, if we went up to the north, now we're going to go down to the south, and the south is fire. It is our energy. It is our motivation. It is everything that drives us towards fulfilling our passion. A lot of times I kind of put goals in there because if we're really in alignment with our goals, then we're passionate about it. We're excited about them. We really want to be able to manifest these. And because they're things that we're passionate about and we want them, then we have the energy in order to be able to do it. And here we have, interesting, we've got the opposite now. We've got earth in fire. So we're really looking right now to really take the things that we have created and solidify them. So what's interesting is when you have fire in earth, right? So there's a project, there's a goal, there's something that we've been motivated and driven to do that is now being solidified into the real world. And here now we have the opposite is that now we have things in the real world that are now firing our passion. So it's interesting because I think what we're seeing right now is these two are feeding off of each other. So there's something that happens in the real world and we're like excited and we're motivated and we're passionate about it. So we're going to do it. And then when we do it, we see the results of it, which then brings us back to more, going back and forth. Now, what's the other thing that's interesting too is that we have the 6 and the 3. So we still have, these are connected in the way that like 3 is a multiple of like 6 is a multiple of 3. And so we're dealing with these community ideas, right? So here is the 3 of coins, which is about working cooperatively in a community in the real world in order to manifest something concrete that people can be built upon, right? And I like to think of this as a group that comes together and builds something in the world. And it could be because it is about community. It's not necessarily like it is there is a real world element to it, but you could have somebody that's building a group that meets at a certain place, and it's the place that they're finding that's what the 3 of coins is kind of pointing at. And so it's really important for us to remember that right now with the 6 and with the 3, and ironically enough, this is an 18, right? The moon is an 18. So we've got a lot of multiples of 3. So we've got 3 and then we go to 6 and then we go to 18, right? So there's this whole idea that we're looking at building communities on different levels, right? So this is a community that we meet physically with. This is a community that we are energetically aligned with and that motivates us to be in. And then the 18, right? This again is another community, but it's a cosmic, it's an enlightened, heightened, intuitive community because it has kind of moved up in the ranks, so to speak, of where we want to go and what's going on. So now we're going to go over to the left, and here we find ourselves in the West. And the West it's the fluidity of emotions. It is community, creativity. So everything that I was talking about when I was talking about the moon card, this is all the realm of the West. And interestingly enough, now we have the 2. So it's the first card we had that's kind of out of the 3 pattern. But what's interesting is the moon, again, is a major arcana card. And I like to kind of think of it as the sister to the moon card because the high priestess here that we have is all about trusting our inner knowing. It's being in alignment, being in sync with the universe, and knowing that we're being guided in some way. And however it is that we tap into our inner knowing, that's what, this is coming in to teach us. So you have to kind of sit with yourself and think, how is it that, like, what is it that makes me feel I'm more connected, I'm more seen by the universe? For me, for example, I feel very, very connected to the natural environment. And so if I go outside and I see something off, whether it be an animal that I've never seen before, whether it be uh, something just very strange that catches my attention, that's to me, that's the sign that my intuition is guiding me to see, to say the universe is watching you, the universe is there with you. And then when we connect that with the moon card, which is about feeling our way through, right? So this is intuitive. This could be how does your intuition feel in your body? How does your body react when you're connected with the universe? And this is how do you feel? There's a bit of a nuance to that. Like there's a bit of a difference because this is still you can be like, what is your body feeling? But it's about how do you feel? How do you react? What are the things that go through you? And this is more of what's the consistency, right? Because water is very inconsistent. it only holds the shape of whatever container it's in. Other than that, it has no form to it. And so its flows, it's very hard to catch. It's very hard to sit with. So from there, we're going to jump over and we're going to go and find ourselves in the east. And the east is the place where the sun rises. It's new beginnings, it's new insights, it's understanding. It is also, because it's air, it's also the realm of all communication, even digital communication and stuff like that. That's very much the area of the east. And here we have, this is the first one that we have where the element actually matches the side that we're on. So here we have air. So we have air in air, which means communication over the next little while. And what we're doing right now is very key to trust, right? Like when we go back, because the opposite side here is the high priestess. And when we're looking at that, the high priestess is really kind of telling us throughout all of this to really trust our intuition, to really lean into that inner knowing that we have and that trust that we're building with the universe. And so the Ace of Swords is coming in, and there's going to be a lot of really big ideas that are going to be dropping in. You'll be driving your car, walking down the street, sitting at work, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you have this great idea. So a little bit of kind of prepping for this is have a notebook with you. Have your phone, have it easy to get to your voice recording or whatever it is that you want to do so that you can capture these ideas when they come in, because they need to come in, and then you need to sit with them and you need to trust, between both the moon card that we've had and the high priestess card that's there. We really need to trust that whatever's coming in, there's a reason for it. And whether it's for us to sit with or to share it with somebody else, that's going to come and be revealed in time, right? We're not going to know because we're always going back, like I said, to the moon card. And the moon card is saying, like, we're not going to know what's going on. We're not going to know what's happening. We just have to trust that it's going to be revealed eventually, right? Because whatever we see in the darkness that we don't understand, how many times have you gone to go somewhere and there's clothes on the floor that you forgot that you had there, and you look at it and you're going, what is that? Or there's a cup or something out of place and you're like, what is that? And you might be all worried and nervous about it until you turn the light on and go, oh, okay, that's what it was, right? That's what this is going to be when we allow the ideas to drop in, and we're not going to know what they are, and they might seem bizarre, they might seem out of place, but we just have to trust that those ideas are coming for a reason. There's also going to be the invitations here with the Ace of Swords, because they always bring new things. There's going to be new ideas that you're going to want to share. There's going to be new things that you're going to want to communicate. And right now, it's going to be very important to be very clear in how we communicate. Or even, because the aces bring newness with them, there's the possibility that there's going to be a new way that you're going to communicate with others. Maybe some of the ways that you've been communicating just haven't been landing, and they're just not clear, and you have feel that you spend a lot more time having to go back and really renegotiate and really like clear the air on things that are going on. And so right now, there's a lot of shifting going on. And so that's going to be one of the things to shifting how you communicate. And when you will look at how we communicate, one we look at is the actual words that we're using. And so it might be time to kind of tune up your vocabulary, take a different point of view or a different perspective in how you're wording what it is that you're saying. But then the other piece of it is all the nonverbal communication, right? Like how are you holding yourself in your body? What is the message your body is sending? And is it alignment with what it is that your words are saying? Plus, communication is always a two-way street. So sitting here and saying all these things, you have to give the space and the time to wait to hear the response and the review or the feedback that's coming back into it. So that's a quick little snapshot of what's going on in our lives right now. So just kind of in summary, I'm just looking to see. So we've got fire, air, and interestingly enough, the element that we're missing is cups. However, you could say that we have cups to the extreme because we have the high priestess and we have the moon card, right? So the moon card to me is one of the highest manifestations of cups within the major arcana card. So we do definitely have that. And starting off and kicking off the whole spread as being everything's around this emotional theme of not really knowing what's going on and feeling a bit unsettled, feeling a bit lost at sea almost, and really having to trust. The other thing I would say too with the cards that we have, to really hone in, and I'm going to point this out because this, I just noticed this is funny. So we have the ace here, which is the one, and we have the high priestess, which is a two, which together they make a three. So we've had the symbol of threes coming up and coming up and coming up. And so I think one of the things that we really want to be tuning into is who are the people that we're connecting to, right? So if we're going to take the themes of these cards, who are the people that we're connecting to? And are they helping us to build the life that we want? Are they helping us to build the societies that we want, the infrastructures and the foundations and the grounding places that we want? Are they helping us to be motivated? Are they helping us to be passionate about the things that are important to us, that are connected to the things that it is that we want to build? And when we combine these two, are the communities and the people that we're with really helping us to tune into our intuition so that we can have these ideas that we can communicate with crystal clarity in the world? There's a lot of things that are going on in our lives right now, and I believe that we're going to see some big shifts this coming week. So kind of hold on to your hat and allow yourself to flow, because if you want to follow through with this, then you're going to have a nice flowing ride. However, if you want to, stop trusting your intuition or continue to ignore your intuition and continue to stay in the places, in the spaces with the people that limit you, that have you feeling like you have to mask, you got a bit of a whitewater raft ahead of you, because the high priestess and the moon, they're very much life lessons from the cosmic curriculum that we have. And so it's really important that we tune in when they're here. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this reading. As I said, this is my signature spread. I think it's the first time I've done that on this channel. And so if you like it, drop a comment below. If you have any questions that you would like answered, please drop them below. I can use this spread to answer just about any question, as well as if you have a spread that you would like to see highlighted on the channel, please drop a comment in below, and I will definitely love to get your spreads on the channel, and I will see you again next week. Remember, like the channel, subscribe, and take care.